Round of applause. This is an amazing bio, and we are so happy to have you in our presence and looking forward to having your session.
Good afternoon, everyone. How many of us are happy to be here? All right. So as she mentioned, my name is Susan, and today I'm going to be talking about thriving in the global job market. This is something that's very dear to my heart, and see as we go along why and how. Now, the rest of you want to stay local. All right. How many of us are actively building a global career? Okay. All right. So the next slide, please. Now, I'm going to be taking us through a series of paths, starting with why, right? Why think global, and then how. How do you access that global opportunity, and then how do you thrive in the global job market? So why, right? The world is too connected for your ambitions to be local. If nothing else, we all know that we live in the digital age where everyone is connected. You could be here and you're connected with people in Asia, in Europe. So the world is so connected, and there's no reason why you should just be thinking about your little environment. You should be thinking global. Now, in more details, next slide is why. The first thing is that there's actually a demand for African talent. A lot of people don't know this. There's a high demand for African talent. I know, especially in the tech space or tech-enabled being careers that thrive on the digital front. There has been a shift from Asia to Africa. Now, we all know that if you know anything about the developer space or customer support space or online workspace, you know that for a long time, Asia has dominated that market, right? A lot of people hire Indians to develop for them, hire Filipinos for customer support. But the world is actually moving to Africa, and there are several reasons for that. The first being that, according to the World Economic Forum, by 2030, Africa is going to make up 40% of the global workforce. Because 40% of the global youth population is going to come from Africa, right? There are 7 continents, and almost half of that population is going to come from Africa. So the world is shifting their strategy because they know if they don't change their plan, their businesses are going to struggle in no time. And then also, we have an advantage of language. How many of you have ever heard an Indian speak English? You struggle to hear them. But for most of African English speaking, we are actually very clear. People can hear us easily. So there is that language advantage for us. And there's also time zone advantage because we are in Africa. Most of Europe, we're maybe 1 or 2 hours apart from them. For America, maybe 6-7 hours. But for Asia, they could be 12 hours ahead, 10 hours. So this gives us an advantage. And this actually is one of the main reasons why this is something that I am very enthusiastic and passionate about, because yes, the world is shifting to Africa, but is Africa actually ready for it? Are we ready? Are we ready in terms of our skills? Are we ready in terms of our values to actually position ourselves for global opportunities? Now, obviously, there are more reasons why you should be thinking global, right? There is also more career options beyond your local environment, access to higher paying jobs. I mean, you cannot be banking or earning in Naira alone right now, right? So there are access to higher paying jobs, career mobility, and freedom. A lot of people talk about remote work, which is great. It gives you a lot of mobility and freedom. But we also know that when you begin to position yourself for global opportunities, it also helps with not just the mobility of working online, but actually moving location. How many of us are aware that many countries have immigration programs that are targeted at tech talents. How many of us know that? Have you ever heard of Tech Nation, UK's Tech Nation? There's also the Canadian Tech Nation. Germany also has its own program. So you see that there's just so much opportunity out there that you can't be thinking local anymore. You need to be thinking global. And then also exposure to global best practices and innovation. There are certain things that you will not be exposed to in your environment that interacting with a global audience gives you that. And so it's very important that if you came here just thinking of, I just want to build myself and start working somewhere and just want to be okay, it's actually time to start having a strategy for going global. Okay, next slide please. If you're good, it doesn't matter where you live, the internet is your passport. There's no excuse anymore of, I'm in Nigeria, I'm in Port Harcourt, so the opportunity is beyond my reach. No, even without leaving, you can access these opportunities. Next slide, please. Now, let's go to how to access global opportunities. I hear this all the time because I interact with people a lot, I mentor people, and a lot of people, maybe they catch the tech buzz and they go through trainings and it's like it was a scam. Like they just made me pay for that bootcamp program, but I'm done now 6 months down the line and there's no opportunity, no job. All right, I've gained the tech digital skills. What next? So I'm going to be going through certain things that shows you how to access global opportunities, how to position yourself for it. And interestingly, it's almost like building up on our last speaker. You know, she talked about going from waiting to creating. I'm going to be showing you how you can go from waiting to actually creating those opportunities for yourself and accessing those opportunities. Next slide, please. Now, there are a number of pathways to access global opportunities. There are platforms you can explore. We have remote job boards that are targeted at online work, such as Remotely, Remote.ok, Remotive, and lots more. We also have freelancing platforms like Upwork, TopTal, Fiverr. I'm sure some of you are familiar with Upwork and Fiverr, right? Okay, and then we have talent platforms. These are more curated for top talents. We have Angela, we have Deal.com, we have Job Together, we have Flex Jobs. These are more premium platforms for talents that have been vetted and are being put out there. And then we have LinkedIn, we have Twitter or X, and we have Slack and various other communities. Now, these platforms are accessible to anyone, anywhere. And so these are your ways to access the global job market. This is your access points. This is where you get into it. Now, for the next few minutes, I'm going to actually be highlighting the last point, which is LinkedIn, Twitter, Slack, and all that. But before I do, I wanted to highlight these two ladies. We're celebrating International Women's Day. So these two women actually, interestingly, I've been following them for a while because they are building amazing communities for people to access global opportunities. And interestingly, they've released or launched remote platforms within a space of 2 weeks. Now, how many of you have ever searched for a job online that said it's remote global, but then when you try to apply, it's not available for Nigerians? Have you ever experienced that? Yeah. I mean, yes, work is going remote and global, but there are still certain companies that maybe they are open to hiring talent from another city in their country, but they don't want anybody outside their country. And that can be a challenge for Nigerians. These two amazing women, Miss Alice has built Remote Work Paddy, and basically it's a platform that helps you get vetted jobs that are available to Nigerians. So you are no longer struggling that you are applying to jobs and they are telling you, you're Nigerian, we're not giving it to you. And then we also have Dami, who has built People, also for helping people get remote jobs that are in Nigeria, but they also manage HR, so like payments, because sometimes one of the issues that companies have is they don't want to manage payroll for foreign countries. Maybe they are open to hiring remotely, but they haven't figured out how to handle payroll for Africa. So her platform does that as well. So you can check those out. Now, moving on. You know where to access opportunities now. It's not enough to know where. There is importance in knowing how to position yourself. And this is where a lot of people actually struggle. They actually spend a lot of time and they don't get headway. You've gone through the training, you know that they say you should check on Fiverr, and they've told you, oh, have you tried LinkedIn? Oh, have you tried remote.com? And it just looks like you've been applying, nobody's hearing you, nobody's answering you. It's very important to know how to position yourself. It's you creating space for yourself. And I liked what our previous speaker said about going from waiting to creating. You actually need to create opportunities for yourself. They are there, but they won't just get handed to you. You have to create the demand from you. You have to make people know that I'm here and I'm going to take up space. So how do you position yourself for global opportunities? The first thing is clarity on your skill set. I can't tell you how many times I've received people's resumes, especially beginners, and they say, oh, I am a product manager that is also doing data analytics, and this is the summary of their resume. And you are like, okay, so which one exactly are you doing? Which one exactly are you, or which skill exactly are you proficient in? Now, I'm not saying you shouldn't try out multiple things, but when it comes to positioning yourself, you have to be clear. This is what I want. This is what I'm going for. So you need to be clear on the skills you are offering. And then the next thing is to optimize your resume. First of all, if you are not clear on your skills, your resume will be all over the place. So you need to optimize your resume. Now, I always tell people, you might be interested in 2-3 roles, 2-3 opportunities. Maybe you are interested in data analytics and data science, and maybe you are also interested in machine learning, right? The fact that these are interrelated doesn't mean you can use the exact same resume for them. Your resume will get kicked out. So you need to make sure that you are optimizing it. You need to be familiar with ATS. How many of us have heard the term ATS before? Wow, only a few people. All right, so ATS basically means Application Tracking System. And although it's not very much used in this side of the world, yeah, some big companies use it, but it's heavily used in the global job market. And it's basically software that scans your resume to see if you have skill set match before it moves it forward to an HR person that will see it. I remember someone I spoke to recently, and he was like, I've just been applying and I've been getting rejected. In fact, one of the rejections came only 7 hours after I applied. I knew. He was like, and they told me they've already gone through it and it's not a match. It's not, they don't want to move forward with me. And I told him, that means your resume did not pass the ATS software. Many of you, your resumes have not even been viewed by a human being because you don't know about that. So you need to make sure that you are optimizing your resume to pass that software so that humans can actually see it and begin to maybe reach out to you, connect with you. Now, the third is LinkedIn. How many of us here are on LinkedIn? Okay, I see a number of us. How many of us are active users of LinkedIn? All right, the hands dropped a bit. Now, this is your secret weapon if you're going to access global opportunities, LinkedIn. If you've ever heard people talk about LinkedIn, LinkedIn is actually who it thinks it is. An optimized LinkedIn profile will attract opportunities even without you looking for them. The last job I did, I worked for a company in the US, basically helped them establish presence in Africa. I didn't apply for it. They never asked me for a resume. What did they interact with? My LinkedIn profile. That was it. So if you are not on LinkedIn, and if you are not active on LinkedIn, take it seriously. And I've also helped a number of people. I've been helping a couple of people recently, and one person, she was so excited. She was like, oh my God, recruiters have started sending me message and telling me that this job is out there. Jobs she's not applying for. They are sending her message, oh, we came across your profile. We think you're going to be a good match for this role. Kindly apply. That's how you position yourself for global opportunities. Also networking. And networking is actually very important because as human beings, we are reliant on relationships. I would rather work with someone I know that knows someone and brings them to me than a total stranger. And it's the same with if you're applying for a job, it's good to interact with the hiring manager, interact with people in those companies because it gives a personal connection that makes you stand out. Same way as you've come to this event right now, you never know who you could partner up with and have your own startup or who you could be working for next. So networking is actually very important, extremely important, and it also kind of ties to LinkedIn as well because if your LinkedIn is going to bring forth fruit, you have to be actively networking on there. And then also networking in communities. How many of us actively use our SheCode's Africa Slack accounts? Are you active on there, or you are a member but you are a passive member? Do you know that jobs get posted there quite often? And there are opportunities for projects to build your portfolio and things like that. So you have to take networking very seriously. And then finally, show your results, not just certifications. A lot of people think that if I just get one more certificate and one more certificate and one more certificate, it's going to make me stand out. The answer to that is actually no, because employers are more interested in knowing that you know how to do the job than whether you have the certificate or not. Right? So you have to show workings. You have to prove yourself. You have to show that I am capable. And that's where portfolios come in. That's where talking about your work comes in. Showing that I have done this and I can do this for you. It's very important. Some people might say, I just started out, how do I build a portfolio? No one has even given me a chance. They're telling me they want experience, but nobody has given me a chance. Start by volunteering, start by interning. It's something that actually people in this side of the world don't take advantage of. I find it interesting, a lot of times when people graduate school, they're like, I'm new in the job market and they're saying I'm supposed to have 1 year experience or 2 year experience. Where am I supposed to get that from? But most times your school will have an IT program, maybe where you're supposed to go and do IT for 6 months. When you graduate as well, you have NYSC. A lot of people actually snooze during that period and they waste it. That's valuable time you could be building experience with. Aside that, find people that you can help. Maybe you are starting out as a web developer. Ask your family or your friends, do you need a website? I can help you build one for free. And you add that to your portfolio. One of the jobs I did recently was because I gained the skill from the organization I'm volunteering with. I never had that experience before, but I have been volunteering for a while now. And they put me through a training. They paid for the training for me to know how to handle that. And next thing I know, an opportunity presented itself. And I said, oh, I can do it. And I was able to show proof of concept that I can do this. So you need to be building that proof of concept and show results. This is how you position yourself for global opportunities. Next slide, please. All right. So 95% of recruiters use LinkedIn to find talent. It's your portal to access the global job market. If you've been applying for a while and you're not getting any response, Number one, make sure that your resume is optimized, because if it's not, it's probably not getting into hands of recruiters. And then number two, make sure you are active on LinkedIn, because they will check you out. Before a recruiter calls you, they are going to check on LinkedIn to see whether you are there. They are going to see whether you are active or not. They are going to see if truly you are what you've written out in your resume that you can do. So make sure that you are active on LinkedIn if you want to be able to access global opportunities. And next slide. Your network is your net worth. Also make sure that you are connecting with people. Make sure that you are interested in knowing what other people are doing, providing support, providing help to them. A lot of the startups we hear of, many of them started because people were interacting with each other. They were not just in isolation. They were not just on their own, doing their own thing. They came together. So if you're going to access opportunities, you need to tap into your network. Some of you are here and you have friends that were your childhood friends who are probably outside the country right now, and you don't know because you are not tapping into your network, and they could be the access point to your next job opportunity or contract. So make sure that you are networking with people. All right, next point. Now, you've accessed the opportunity. You are gradually getting there, you are building. Now, how do you thrive in the global job market? Getting the job is one thing, but keeping it and growing it is another thing. And this is actually very important because as the world is shifting to Africa, it will not be good that we start having bad rep. When they give Nigerians job, they don't do it well though. They do shabby job. Or when they give Nigerians job, they don't deliver on time. They are not timely. Or when they work with Nigerians, they don't like the way they talk to them. And so before you know it, they're like, I don't think I want to hire from Nigeria again, or I don't think I would recommend this person for another opportunity. So how do you thrive in the global job market? Because you thriving is us thriving. How do you thrive in the global job market? Next slide, please. Essential soft skills. Now, a lot of times people think that once they know how to code, they know how to program, or they know how to develop some beautiful website, or they are very excellent digital marketers, everybody will want them. The truth is no. Because a lot of times people are more interested in your human side than just your technical skills. Yes, your technical skills may get you through the door, but it's your soft skills that will keep you in that company. If you are not someone that they enjoy working with, they will probably not keep you for long, and they will not recommend you for other opportunities. So there are certain skills that you need to develop to ensure that you are thriving. You are someone that people can recommend, that people can refer. That if a new employer calls your previous employer, they will have wonderful things to say about you. And the first is communication. We all know that communication is very important, right? Now, when it comes to working in the global space, the way you communicate may be slightly different. For example, we as Nigerians, we are loud, right? And we are also very direct. We don't hide our mouth. But you might be working with some other people from other parts of the world that they don't know how to handle that directness in communication. Or maybe you are talking normally, but they feel like you are shouting at them. So you need to be careful and adopt clear communication practices. You need to be concise. If you are sending an email, be clear and concise. If you are speaking over the phone or a video call, be as concise as possible. Try to watch your tone, watch how loud you are or how low you are. Those things actually really matter. Also, time management and skills, very important. Now, if you're going to be someone who is thriving in the global job market, you can't be doing African time. You can't. You cannot be doing African time. Because if they set a meeting for 10 a.m. and you are showing up 10:05, you are actually looking for trouble. If there's a project you're supposed to deliver on and a deadline was set and you are giving excuses when it's time to deliver, that's not going to be good. So you need to have great time management skills and self-discipline to know that I am going to do my work whether anybody is watching me or not. This self-discipline even plays in how much of excuses you give with your work. Now, I have worked with quite a number of Nigerians, even in the global job market, where like there are other people from other countries, to know that our excuses like, oh, there's no light, oh, my internet is not good, actually irritates them. Yes, there may not be lights, but you need to find multiple alternatives and discipline yourself to make sure that you are maximizing when there is light, you are maximizing when your internet is working well. The last company I worked for, we had a UI UX designer who was always late in delivering stuff because she was always complaining of internet issues. And I spoke to her privately. I'm like, are there no co-working spaces around you that you can go to? She's like, it's far. I'm like, yeah, but you're working online, so you can schedule that, okay, so hours of the day, I will go there and finish my work. Instead of when there are meetings, you are saying, oh, there's internet issue, I couldn't do this, I couldn't do that. She didn't do anything about it until she got suspended. By the time she came back from the suspension, nobody told her that she should always be on time in delivering her work. And some other employers may have just fired her. And that would be a bad reputation for her, because getting another opportunity, most people will ask you, so why did you leave your previous job? Even if you are able to lie about it, they might call your previous employer. And if it becomes a pattern, eventually people will start avoiding you. So you need to be self-disciplined. Also be, number 3, cultural intelligence. There are certain things that go here, there are certain lingua, there are certain mannerisms that we have that may not be acceptable. So you need to be very aware. You won't know it all, but that's why it's important to be eager to learn and grow. So that if you're interacting with someone from another culture, another background, you don't do something that in their own culture is a taboo. Those can actually be blockers, so be aware of those. And then navigating time zone. If you're going to be a global citizen working for global companies, you need to know different time zones. Know when it's WAT, when it's EST, when it's CST, when it's GMT +1. Because if you are setting a meeting with people in another time zone, you need to be sure that you are setting it at a time where they are not sleeping. Or you are not showing up late thinking, oh, it was supposed to be at this time. This can actually be an issue. The rest of the team won't understand. And then also video calls for personal connections. Now, this is actually very important. I've had meetings with so many people from different sides of the world, because a lot of my work relates to partnering, collaboration, helping people. And I find it very interesting that if I get on a call with an American, I don't even need to ask them to turn on their camera. Their camera is always on. If I get on a call with even a Kenyan, their camera is on. But when I get on a call with Nigerians, I have to be begging them, please turn on your camera. Please turn on your camera. It's actually not good, because remember, you're working away from these people. You don't see them. But as humans, we form connections based on who we are seeing. So if you are always having your camera turned off, you are losing that personal touch, that personal connection that you could be forming. Because in a meeting where you are seeing people's face, you are seeing their facial expressions, you are seeing their mannerisms, it builds more of a bond than if I was just on the call and I'm just hearing you. And it also helps with communication, because now I can hear, I'm not just hearing you, I'm seeing you, so I'm seeing what you are saying. And I'm sure many of us know that they say action speaks louder than words, right? So this is something you don't want to miss out on. Even with interviews, I can't count how many times I've interviewed people and I said, can you turn on your camera? Because, I mean, I didn't call for an audio call. If I wanted an audio call, I would have called you on the phone. There's a reason why it's a virtual call, right? So it's a very important etiquette for anyone that's going to be working remotely, working with global teams, especially if they are virtual meetings, unless it was already communicated that there's no need to have your camera on. Always have your video camera on. It goes a long way in creating that connection and enhancing communication. Next slide. Now, I would like to close out with this. I remember the first speaker, she talked about the fact that Nigeria, we don't do things well. We're always trying to cut corners. And actually, this is something that affects us a lot. Because a lot of times, even though companies are gradually warming up to hiring from Africa and opening up to hiring African talent, some of them still shy back because of the complaint that we don't do excellent work. We just want to do whatever we can do because I just want to get paid. I just want to finish and get my money. Not knowing that how excellently you deliver is actually going to be what opens the next door and the next door and the next door. So I want to close out by saying, with everything I've said, as you position yourself for global opportunities, as you network, as you make sure your resume is optimized, as you apply, make sure that you are excellent in what you're doing, because excellence is going to be your marketing. It's going to open doors for you. Now, just a brief recap of everything I've said. If you want to access global opportunities, start now. If you've not already gained an in-demand tech or digital skill, learn one. And then create a global ready profile on LinkedIn. Don't wait till you are finished if you are just starting out. You can start your LinkedIn profile now and even document your journey. And then join global communities and participate. Don't just be a passive member. If you are on SheCode, let's know that you are on SheCode, right? Be active, engage in the conversations that happen. And then also apply to as many jobs as you can. Start with freelancing to build experience, or volunteering or interning, and then apply to opportunities. And also show your work publicly. Don't hide it. She said earlier that your contacts, maybe only 5 or 10 know what you do. Make sure you're loud about what you do. If you don't speak up for yourself, no one will speak up for you. So you have to show yourself, show working, that's how you take up space. Show yourself. And also be patient and consistent and be teachable. I hope we have gained something out of this. It's been a pleasure talking to us today, and I hope we begin to build global careers, because the world is waiting for what you carry. It's time to go global.